Hello, my name is Lena Whitford, and for 20 years, my family thought I was nothing but a burden, a jobless sister who couldn't get her life together. Last summer, my own brother shouted to the police that I was pushing drugs, but the truth he never saw was the badge I carried close to my heart. I wasn't a failure. I was DEA, and that night, the truth finally stepped into the light. She's jobless and pushing drugs. My brother's voice cut sharper than the zip ties on my wrists. The words rang across the manicured lawn, bouncing off the white columns of the Whitford estate. Golden light slanted over hedges trimmed to perfection, but all I saw was the smug tilt of Caleb's chin as he displayed the bag to the officers. A sandwich bag, grainy white powder catching the sun like a cruel trick of light. He held it aloft as though the evidence of my ruin fit neatly in his hand. I remembered Father's funeral. My seat had been empty, branded proof of my failure. They whispered that I hadn't bothered to come, that Caleb had stood alone to shoulder the weight of the family. No one knew that I was across the country, deep in a cover that would not allow me to grieve. They wanted a dutiful daughter, and they made do with a perfect son. Now he played that role again. She's unstable, he declared. Erratic. 42. No career, living off scraps. Look at her officers. Does she look like someone clean? His voice reached over my silence and wrapped itself around the crowd gathering at the edges. Neighbors craned from doorways, phones angled like jury ballots. My humiliation became their evening entertainment. Monica leaned against the doorway, hands clasped, face composed in practiced worry. Her eyes followed the bag more than me. She nodded at his lines, every gesture rehearsed. She knew her part in the play. Officer Blake Turner took the bag, his stance steady, professional eyes narrowed as he examined the substance. By the book. He said nothing, just tucked the evidence into a pouch with mechanical precision. Officer Naomi Brooks, though, studied me instead. Younger, sharper. Her gaze lingered on the zip ties, then on my steady breathing, as if weighing whether the stillness meant resignation or something else. I kept quiet. Years undercover had taught me when silence could reveal more than words. The longer Caleb spoke, the more he showed. She's embarrassed us all, he added, pacing now, working himself into rhythm. Every job failed, every chance squandered. You think she pays rent from honest work? She's been hiding, she's been lying, and now you see the truth. Turner shifted notebook open. Brooks hesitated, her eyes flicking to Monica, then to me. Ma'am, she said carefully, your full name. Lena Whitford, I answered. My voice was calm, even though I knew every ear on the lawn caught it. It sounded foreign in the air, as though the name belonged to someone else, someone weaker, someone beaten down. Her jacket, Caleb urged, pointing, his voice rising. Check the inside pocket. Monica's lips parted in expectation. Brooks approached, hand steady. She lifted the jacket draped across my lap, fingers brushing fabric worn thin. From the inner pocket she drew a slim leather wallet. She opened it and her face changed, surprise breaking through the mask of procedure. A federal seal glimmered in the fading light. Caleb barked a laugh. Don't be fooled. You can order those online. She's nothing. A failure with a fake badge. Brooks closed the wallet slowly, her eyes narrowing as she met mine. We'll need to confirm this immediately. Caleb had been rehearsing this monologue for months, the final act in his campaign to erase me. Evening slides over the lawn, soft as a curtain call. Phones rise, porches fill. Caleb owns the stage, pacing the bricks as if they were a podium he paid for. He talks about me like a surgeon naming a tumor, clinical, inevitable. His voice layers over twilight like a verdict already read. My mind flashes to Father's funeral, Caleb at the aisle, hand on Mother's back, collecting condolences as if he'd inherited the house and the family's moral center. My name was a rumor that day, the daughter who couldn't be bothered. I was in a motel 2,000 miles away, rinsing dye from a sink, breaking down a phone I could never admit existed. Unstable, Caleb says now, savoring the word. Episodes. She's talked to herself, lost track of days. You've seen her, officer, she drifts. He scans the neighbors like a pole. A few nod, relieved to be told what to believe. Mother's voice crackles on speaker from his phone. Don't let her ruin us, Caleb. The sentence hangs like a low shoelace, easy to trip, hard to forget. He turns the volume up, an amplifier for righteousness. Monica edges closer, perfect posture, hands folded. She's never held a real job, never contributed. She adds eyes, dry voice, warm enough to pass for concern. She won't hold my gaze. Her gaze circles the jacket, then the officers, calculating which camera angles will survive the evening. I breathe through the zip ties, wrists aching. Ma'am, Brooks says, meeting my eyes. There's a steadiness in her that resists his script. Turner remains the metronome beside her notebook, open pen patient. Caleb's phone chimps with notifications, board meeting, 7 p.m. Funds transfer failed. Investor call. He tenses, then pretends not to have heard. The mask returns. We worry about her mental health, he continues, benevolent. If she needs help, we'll get it. But tonight, you need to do your job. A murmur ripples, curiosity, pity, the thrill nearby. Headlights sweep the curb, move on. Somewhere, a sprinkler starts hissing like a fuse. Brooks lifts her phone. We've received doorbell footage, she says, voice neutral. Turner leans closer. The screen reflects in their faces, grainy porch light. Our front steps the jacket. A figure bends, Monica's silhouette unmistakable in that tailored dress, hand slipping into the inner pocket, withdrawing nothing, then adjusting the fold as if tidying a napkin. Turner mutters, "That doesn't match Caleb's story." He doesn't look at me when he says it. He doesn't have to. Monica goes still, then exhales. Caleb tries laughter again, but it catches. That's distorted, he says too quickly. Angles can lie. Brooks turns the volume up. The clip plays with the thin audio of a cheap camera, the click of our door, Monica's bracelet chiming against the zipper. She holds the phone so that neighbors can see without touching, chain of custody. Caleb steps forward. You don't know when that was taken. The air tightens. Brooks addresses him. Deliberate, sir, the timestamp is from 20 minutes before your call. She pivots to face the crowd and doorway. Monica whispers his name, Caleb, but even that sounds like it's trying to find a safe place to land. Brooks plays the clip aloud, Monica bending near Lena's coat. Caleb freezes, then erupts. That could be anyone, but the crowd's murmurs shift. Red and blue lights flash as a black SUV pulls up. Director Helena Grant steps out, her presence slicing the air, secure the scene. I'll take it from here. Justice doesn't need to shout it. Signs documents and stamps them with time. The SUV door thuds shut. The hum of federal radios threads through the murmurs and the insect buzz of evening. Blue strobes skate across the crest as Director Helena Grant steps into fading light. She isn't tall, but authority changes height. Remove those, she tells the local officers, and the zip ties come off with a brittle sigh. Blood warms my hands as sensation returns. Brooks logs my ID with care, noting the seal expiration number photograph that rarely matches my hair. Turner stands beside her, jaw square, eyes on the bag of powder, already readying his kit. I watch Caleb watch them. His mouth holds certainty. It falters at the corners. Grant's voice is steady. We will proceed. Turner pinches a trace from the bag onto a disposable card, drips reagent, waits for color. Neighbors tilt their phones. The card stays stubbornly bland. Turner frowns, consults the legend, and then looks up. That's baking soda, not cocaine. The sentence falls into the grass and disappears, and with it a chunk of Caleb's narrative. Grant presents the search warrant, the page crisp, the signature dark. The timestamp predates Caleb's call. This authorizes seizure of digital storage and records, she says, for body cameras and neighbors alike. Agents fan into the house. Latex snaps. Evidence bags unfold. Labels dated. Monica stands still at the doorway, a statue of second thoughts. Agent Derek Vaughn joins me at the edge of the drive. Van's hot, he says. We cross to the white service van idling 3 blocks down the kind nobody notices. Inside monitors a rack cold air. Dashboards wait steady as pulse. We pair seized devices, log serials, and image drives. Hash values bloom recorded twice my notebook, his tablet. Chain of custody initials march down a form like boot prints. Feeding prescription logs, Vaughn murmurs, keys rattling. Names and dates braid themselves into graphs. Red dots mark overdose deaths by county. A string threads the map like a wound. A vendor ID repeats the integration partner for Caleb's software. A physician profile populates Adrian Kessler, MD. Hours of prescribing that look like ledgers, not care. The pattern tightens beyond coincidence. Back at the house, Grant supervises seizure of a server tower, anodized black humming with heat. Turner holds the door. Brooks photographs ports and cables before anyone pulls a cord. Power down, Grant orders, and an agent gloves a hand to the switch. The room smells of lemon polish and warm plastic. Caleb's smile is a stretch of pale skin with teeth. Vaughn's screen blinks. Incoming network traffic, he says. A device phoning out. We isolate MAC addresses and find the signal hopping between access points, busy as guilt. On my second monitor, Monica W. lights a text. Make sure the bag is obvious. The sentence is ugly in its simplicity. Brooks is quicker than anger. She steps to Caleb, voice almost kind. Your wife orchestrated the planting. His face drains like paper left in sun. Monica's breath stutters. Her knuckles glow white on the doorframe. The neighbors have stopped whispering. For the first time tonight, birds are audible again. Grant nods once. Continue. Vaughn and I run a financial join payouts, cross with order spikes and courier routes. A loop emerges. Shell vendors consulting invoices, late transfers. The rope is making itself. The evidence tightens by the minute. Caleb grabs his phone frantically, attempting a remote wipe of his servers. Vaughn shouts, "Kill the Wi-Fi, bag the devices." The screen freezes with a half-deleted log. If you don't want to miss how the truth unravels in the next chapter, hit subscribe and stay with me, because the real reckoning is only just beginning. The moment my brother finally saw me was when the cuffs closed on his wrists. Night had swallowed the estate. Porch lights threw cones on the grass shadows stretching between police cars and neighbors filming. The air buzzed radio's engines, whispers rising like a tide. For once, Caleb did not control the stage. His voice, once a whip, had thinned into protests no one believed. Vaughn stood beside a portable projector balanced on the hood of a car. Financial graphs glowed on the siding. Lines of money transfers connected Caleb's company to addresses already raided. Here, Vaughn said, pointer-tapping red clusters is the network. Prescription data laundering through Whitford systems. Volume matched pill mills across states. His voice carried calm weight, the kind that brooked no argument. Director Grant held a folder in her hand. She did not raise her voice. Daniel Caleb Whitford, you are under arrest for conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, racketeering, and money laundering. The charges fell like stones. A marshal unfolded cuffs, their metal shine catching every smartphone in the crowd. Lies, Caleb snapped, but the word had no teeth. His collar was damp hair disheveled. He looked less like the golden heir and more like a man cornered. I want my lawyer, he shouted, searching the crowd as if reputation itself could intervene. Monica shrieked from the porch. She planted it. She's the unstable one. Her finger stabbed toward me, trembling. Lena is destroying this family. Don't let her trick you. Her voice cracked not with grief, but desperation. Some neighbors pulled back. Others leaned closer, catching every word on camera. Brooks and Turner stood firm, silent witnesses. They had seen enough. Turner held the evidence pouch with the harmless powder. Brooks had the phone clip where Monica's hand slipped the bag. Neither spoke. Their presence pinned the truth. Marshals closed in. Caleb jerked, tried to twist free, but they turned him smoothly impersonal. The cuffs clicked final as a gavel. Flashbulbs burst, the crowd gasped. The performance was over. The reality was written in steel on his wrists. Caleb turned, searching for me. For a second, he looked like the boy who once built forts and whispered secrets. But that boy had been smothered under greed and arrogance. Now only this man remained, eyes wide, pleading. "Lena, what are you doing?" I stepped closer, voice low, intimate enough to cut deeper. "I wore failure like armor. You never saw the blade beneath." The whisper sliced through the night, sharper than his screams. Neighbors lowered their phones, stunned into silence. The line would echo long after I walked away. Monica collapsed against the doorframe, sobbing, her grief staged. "Please, Caleb, tell them." She reached for him, but the marshals moved him forward past her into the back of a waiting SUV. The slam of the door was the punctuation no one expected, but everyone needed. The journalist scribbled, recorder blinking red. Headlines were already writing themselves. Golden Son in cuffs, family failure unmasked as protector. The lawn, once manicured pride, had become a theater of justice. My phone buzzed in my pocket. The screen glowed with a message from Mother. "Don't tell me you were involved." "What would your father think?" I stared at the text, feeling 2 decades pressed down. Justice doesn't end with handcuffs. It lingers in paper clauses, in the ink our fathers left behind. 1 week later, the lawn is replaced by polished wood and a table reflecting light. The office smells of lemon oil. Outside the window, traffic threads through glass canyons. Inside, silence holds. Attorney Parker adjusts his glasses and opens a slim binder. I remember Father's will read on the week I was absent. Caleb stood tall, then chin lifted, the sole heir in everyone's eyes. I became a rumor moving from pew to pew. Tonight, that illusion collapses. Clawback, Parker says, tapping a paragraph. "If any heir is convicted of a felony, his or her share will be forfeited to the Whitford Foundation designated for community harm caused by narcotics." The cadence is dry. Meaning floods the room. On paper, the estate tilts. Caleb's share slides to a different ledger. Monica inhales sharply, then almost folds in her chair. Color abandons her. A hand rises to her mouth as if to hold the world. Across from us, Mother sits, rigid, pearl earrings, still, lips set. She does not look at me. She does not look away either. Parker continues, dates, signatures, a stamp that fixes what pride could not. A printer hums somewhere. Director Grant steps in by the glass. "You closed a wound many never see. Take some rest." Her hand is warm, dry, real. She leaves without disturbing the hush. The air seems to settle into a fairer shape. Reports move. A local station airs a segment on the Foundation grants counseling transport. A mother speaks on camera, holding a photo time can't change. She thanks the Whitford daughter who was never seen until now, and the anchor's voice softens between updates. He reads a notation. "Father insisted on recognition of service not recorded." The line lands like a hand on a shoulder, quiet, certain. Mother blinks. Something in her posture loosens, an end to a long fight with denial. When it is done, signatures drying, we step to the corridor where carpet hushes. Monica lingers by the elevator, pale eyes, unfixed. She says nothing. The doors close on her reflection. Home is smaller and kinder. I unlock the apartment switch on a lamp, and the room greets me with ordinary. Outside, the old van waits under a jacaranda's shadow ladder rack in violet dust. Once cover and cage, tonight it looks like a relic that understands me. My phone buzzes. Mother stands in the doorway of the past, then steps closer. She hands me Father's old phone, its case cracked, battery swollen. "There is a message you should hear." I press the button and the recording opens, brittle but steady. "Take care of her. She is stronger than you think." A voice I carried in memory now carries me gently. Mother's next words come not from a will or a clause, but from beneath them. She takes my hand thumb, tracing the dent where a zip tie once bit. She whispers, Your father would have been proud. And so am I. I sit by the window, phone in hand, the city's sunset glowing. For 20 years, failure was my armor. Tonight, I can finally set it down. I carried the weight of silence for 2 decades, letting my family believe I was the failure while I fought battles they could never imagine. Now, when the truth is out, I ask you, what do you think of my choice to wear that armor of failure? Share your thoughts with me. And remember, sometimes life calls us to endure misunderstanding because true strength doesn't need recognition, it just needs time to be revealed.